Are we ready, Drew? All right, we live, baby. Let's go. Middle coach, come on, man. Take your seat in that
Hey,
sunken ass chair.
I'm
He already
glitching.
glitched. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Yo. Hey, we live. What's going on? Hey, it's your boy Bird and the Proof. I am here with my no, we're not even co-hosts. We all hosts up in here. I'm here with my guy, medical coach, and my beautiful neuro agent. This is another episode of Forgotten Voices. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for Sasha for giving her experiences and things like that, and being so vulnerable and being so emotional with her story last week. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot personally about her perseverance and about who she is as a person and what drives her. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, I get something from everybody that takes part in these shows and things like that. And I learned that I have no reason to complain about the things that I go through. You dig what I'm saying? If somebody can overcome stuff, I was about to cuss. I'm a cuss anyway. If somebody can go through and persevere through some shit like that, I can do anything in this world I put my mind to. So I apply that each and every day, and I expect extraordinary every day. Like me and my guy medical coach talked about yesterday with honor amongst men. That's another thing we're gonna talk about later. You guys up in here, Horizon, man. If you guys don't take advantage of this man and his know-how and what he knows as a human being, you cheating yourself. I'm gonna say it again. He is a behavioral life coach. That means he has the ability to sit there and dissect behaviors and curve them damn things to adjust them so you can have better success in your life. I don't know what man don't want better success in his life, but if you don't want it, cool. I'll come to every session and I'll listen. So with that being said, we are here again, Forgotten Voices. We have another guest. This time we have a Army vet. Yo, can we call reservists vets? Is reservists
Yes.
are still vets? No
Yes.
diss Wayne, but is vets
Yes.
is yeah, we can do that.
We can call them vet. They're veterans.
All right, they're still
serve,
veterans.
they serve. They serve. They're veterans.
If you serve, you still a vet. Army or not. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to the Army. We ain't gonna cuss me out when they get out here. Yo, but with that being said, hey, Wayne came to Military Mind at one time, and he spoke about his experiences within the Army. He was a postal worker. He's gonna tell you that, of course, but he has a whole bunch of other talent that I didn't even know about. He created some phenomenal worlds within this space. One for Black History Month that just blew my mind. I don't know if anybody went there, but he's going to come out here and talk about it, I'm sure. But it's a very emotional build, and I hope he does talk about it. He is a phenomenal mind, great talent, and just an overall dope human being, man. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guy, WanesWorld. Come on out, man. Hey, where my light at? There you go. Until I get the applause, there you go. Till I get the applause.
Over here.
Till I get the applause, we're gonna do the lights. Till I get the applause, we're gonna get the lights. There we go. Drew, you see them lights? You see them lights, right? My guy. You see the lights, my guy. There we go. Wayne.
What's up? I'm gonna fight
What's What's happening, my guy? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing. Just out here.
Yeah, good.
Living life.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for coming to the show and being part of the experience, man. I appreciate that. Let the people know. Well, since it is a military show in regards to we are trying to highlight the journey of what brought you to the military. You dig what I'm saying? So before we even get there, though, I want you to just let the people know, you know what I'm saying, where you from, and what you've been doing in Horizon since you got here.
I am from Monroe, Louisiana. I'm from Natchez, Louisiana. I currently live in Monroe, Louisiana. I have really taken to Horizon, and I've made Horizon, a second home for me. I definitely I build a lot. I actually have a team. We actually are in the process now of getting other brands to come in and work with our team.
Right.
We build in this space. We DJ. I think we have the lowest rates for DJs in the metaverse.
Okay.
We do it all, and it's We Brands.
When you say we, who is this we? We.
It's
Who consists of we?
myself, Gemini Things, Cali Elite, um, Damn Zaniel, Unique with J and D.
Hold up, Wayne. Hold up, Wayne. Cause see, we're
Uh-huh.
gonna do this right now. Wayne, you're gonna have to go to the queue, my guy,
Okay.
so they can hear you. Drew, we gotta adjust fire real quick. Hold up, let's stay right there, Wayne. Cause Drew, you gotta adjust fire because we can't hear Wayne from the couch right now. We still having those technical difficulties thanks to Horizon. Thanks, Horizon.
Can you hear me? Okay? Can you hear me from here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, they can definitely hear you though. They can definitely hear you.
Let him have this spot then.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Wayne. Take my spot.
There we go.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Y'all hear him? And they still don't. Sasha hears him. Neuro, do you hear him? Miss Malik, you hear him?
I keep.
Neuro, what's wrong with your?
Can you guys hear me right
Can y'all
here?
hear me?
You can hear
Everybody
me.
good?
Okay.
All
All right, we good.
Wait, try this seat here. Oh, they can hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Where Meta Coach is sitting is louder than.
Okay.
All right, go over there then. Go over there. Let's switch it up again. My apologies for these technical difficulties, man.
Okay. How about now? Y'all hear me?
Hell no, I don't.
Yeah, it's better. to
Y'all
me.
hear him? Neuro, you good?
It keep changing.
Okay, forget this. Wayne, go to the queue. Circle, please. We're gonna fix it. Drew, we're
Okay.
gonna wait for you, my guy.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Let's do this.
Let's go.
So, when you say, oh, let's start back. You said we. Who consists of this team that you have within this space?
There's Jim. So my core brand. There's Gemini, Cali Elite, Damn Zaniel. I forget somebody.
They're gonna be mad at you too.
They is. Okay. So then J&D is Unique and Hot Love. And
Okay.
then we got, and as of recently, VR Family now,
Gotcha.
which is Son of Joker and Nova Star.
Awesome.
So those are our
Awesome.
brands that we work with and that work under the We Brands to create the metaverse.
Okay. Well, you had a whole journey before you figured out this metaverse thing and this Oculus Quest thing. So we're gonna go back some. We're gonna talk about your military experiences and things like that. First of all, I'm assuming you graduated high school. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So usually I joined the military at 17. So at what age did you decide, okay, I'm about to do this army thing?
23.
23. So, okay. So I'm of the belief that there are some things that took place in your life that told you, okay, now I'm going to do this army thing. What were those things that took place that made you realize, hey, I want to go ahead and join this army and do something different?
So both of my uncles were in the military. I actually joined JRTC.
Okay.
And I was like, nah, the military ain't for me. I'm not doing that. I don't want anybody yelling at me. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college. I
Okay.
get to college. All of a sudden, I'm failing out all my classes.
What
I'm
college you go to?
partying, Northwestern State University. Far from
Okay.
Demons. Oh, we can't do that up here, but yeah.
No, you
Far from
can't.
Demons. I tried it. And then doing that, a lot of people have these great stories of how they got to the military and all that. I was literally walking in the hallway of my campus, and there was a RTC recruiter there. He was like, "Hey, you should join the military."
Yo, shout out them persistent ass army recruiters, man. Cause
They gonna be there.
they in the schools, they in the mall, they in the food court by Panda Express. Yo, Let me tell you, they in the arcade, they everywhere. Yo, shout out to the Army recruiters. So go ahead.
And I was like, you know what? YOLO. I
Hey,
went down to the. I went to because okay. So fun fact: active duty and or active duty Army and Army Reserve recruiters are the same people. The only different
okay.
recruiter is the guard. I went to the Army Reserve building trying to talk to somebody from the guard, and the guy was like, "Oh, you know how they play the games. We got better benefits.
Right.
You should join the reserves." And I was like, "You know what? At this point, I'm failing out of school. I might as well. My whole life has been failing forward."
Well, okay. I like that. Failing forward. I like that. I like that. So I'm saying though, so I mean, you never consider any other branch. It was just, yo, I'm Army, and that's what we doing.
So I went through the little hallway. I stopped by the Air Force. Nobody was there. I ain't even look at the fucking the Marines. I just was
Wow.
like,
You see
oh,
how they do the
okay.
Marine? You
Yeah.
see how they do the Marine?
The Navy wasn't for me. I don't do water, and the Army's office was open.
Word. Word. Okay. So what job did you consider being well, hold on, you had to take the ass fab first, I'm sure.
I did, and I
Yeah.
scored a 67.
Must be nice. I don't want to tell y'all my score, but go ahead.
I said, look, I surprised myself. I was like, oh shit.
Okay.
And they sold me the big old, oh, you can get any job you want in the military. What they don't tell you is no, you can't. You can only get the jobs that are in your area.
So when you say area, you mean within the score that you scored, or what?
No, within the location, your physical location, your geographic location. So there's a reserve center there. You can only get the jobs that's at that reserve center.
Okay, so as a reservist, you can only get the jobs that are tailored to your area.
Units in your area. Yes.
Got you. Okay, I didn't even know that.
So he wasn't lying. I could have got any job in the military as long as those jobs were at the unit close to me.
And what job did you pick, sir?
So that interesting. Okay, so they offered me combat medic, radiology technician or something, and supply and human resources. So I walked in thinking like, let me get something that's going to benefit me later on in life. So I chose human resources because I was already going to school for business. So I was like, okay, this is going to align perfectly.
Awesome. So for those that don't understand a reserve, because it's completely different than active duty, enlighten us on like what is so different from active to reserve.
So as a reservist, we drill twice a month, and we do annual training that can last between 14 and 23 days. The difference is, as active duty, y'all come to work every single day. Y'all do a job every single day. As a reservist, I have a civilian job, civilian responsibilities, but I also serve my country for those 2 days a month.
Awesome. So 2 days out of the month, you with everybody else, and you have a civilian job in addition to that. So what was your civilian job?
I've had a bunch of them, but the one I have now, I'm actually, and I've had for the last 8 years now. I'm a soldier and family readiness specialist with the Louisiana National Guard. I assist soldiers and their families during deployments and other times that they have emergencies or family issues or whatever, financial. It just depends on what's going on.
So you like helping people.
I love helping people.
When did you figure that out?
I have known that my whole life. I've always been there to help people. It fulfills me. My life motto is empty the bucket. I try to empty the bucket everywhere I go. I try to give back, give somebody something that they didn't have before they met me. If that's a smile, if that's some, life advice, whatever it is. At the end of my life, I want to be able to look and say, okay, I'm empty now, but I've given everything I have to everyone around me.
Got you. I feel that. I can dig that. So human resource it was, huh?
It was.
So what did human resource, what parts of the world did human resource take you in this Army Reserve, sir?
I have been all over the United States, to so many military bases I can't imagine. I've got to go to Poland. I've been to Germany. I got to deploy to Iraq, and we'll talk about that later on. But I got to deploy to Iraq. That was catastrophically amazing. It really it opened my eyes. I feel like a lot of times in the United States we don't really get to see the world outside of the view the news gives us.
Yes, sir.
Going to Iraq really opened my eyes. It allowed me to see, that it's not just a desert with huts.
Right.
They have buildings, they have people have lives there. It looked like America. I mean,
Right.
except for the damage, they had malls and stores, and it was just a flyover. I didn't get to go down there, but that flyover allowed me to see that, the news only shows us what they want us to see. And there's so much more out there.
So when you say human resource, like what specifically were you doing, like within human resource?
So everything, honestly, my unit did everything. You had to do theater gateway, you had to know casualty liaison, you had to know postal operations, you had to know basic S1 stuff. Me specifically, my platoon, we started as a casualty liaison platoon, and that's where you process feeder cards from casualty notifications in the field. So if any branch or anybody in the field took casualties, it was our job to process those and run those up. However, I never got to do that in action. It was always in training. However, when I deployed to Iraq, they switched out UIC, and we did postal operations.
So I'm assuming it wasn't just Army people, Army soldiers out there. You were you with a lot of other branches as well?
Other branches, other militaries. There were people from every walk of life. That's why I said catastrophically amazing. Iraq was so amazing because I got to deal with Slovakia, Romania, Polynesians, Spanish, just everybody, British soldiers. You got to talk to them and see how they live, eat some of their food, and just get to know and get to talk to people and make friends.
Right, definitely. So that's my question. So what does that do to you? Like going to these different countries and things like that. I know what it did for me personally. What did it do for you as a person from Alabama, right?
Louisiana.
My bad, damn it. I'm thinking Alabama. Louisiana. They right next to each other. But go ahead. What did it do for you? Like, what did it do for you as a person overall to witness all these different countries and things like that?
I'm gonna start on a little lower level than that. My first ever flight, the first time I ever got on a plane was going to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That's how much of a country boy I am. At 23 years old, my first flight was leaving Louisiana on a plane to go to South Carolina.
Wow.
The military as a whole opened my eyes. It taught me, there is no I in team. That my failure, my success is the success of everybody around me.
Facts. Say that again, please. Hold on, no. Say that again, please. Say that again.
Failure, my success is the success of everybody around me. If I let the team down, then we all gonna suffer. And if I do good, we all do good.
Right.
But back to your point about going overseas and dealing with so many different people, it was amazing. It made me realize that there's so much more than just me. Yes, there's so many people with so many different stories, and truthfully, a lot of them I didn't even understand, but they said a story. I have a picture that I post on. I'll send it to you. I met a black Spaniard, and this man spoke perfect English. I think he actually spoke better English than I did. But it was just me being floored to see somebody who looks like me from another country that could hold a conversation with me. It just blew my mind.
Right.
And I got to talk to people and meet people, an experience that most people never get because we're stuck in our bubble.
So as a country boy, I'm assuming, were you the only child?
I am not. I'm actually the oldest of 3.
Oh, okay. So you're the oldest one. Okay. So everybody paid attention to you and they altered their life based on what you did and didn't do, or did and didn't have successes in.
I wish. I do wish. No, they're charted their own path. They still figuring it out. But you know what? I'm here.
Yeah.
The same way I was with the military, and the same way I had every battle buddies back, have my siblings back the same way.
So was it an easy transition from being a country boy jumping into the reserves? And
oh hell yeah. Okay, so I
Yeah?
was overweight. I was overweight, still am, but I was overweight. I didn't know shit. I remember getting on the bus, getting there. You know, they push you through. You get to the airport. I got in the bus. The drill sergeant said, tie the bag around your head. I tied a damn knot in my bag and pulled it tight with the iPro on. So he was like, get off the bus. I had to untie the knot. Last person off the bus. I remember running down the alleyway. Can we curse?
Yeah.
Okay. The drill sergeant was like, you fat fuck. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I didn't like, can they talk to me like this?
They're right again.
I'm from the deep south. It's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Right.
And they was just going in. You stupid, going in.
Right.
I finally get there, and I had already had military experience from JRTC or whatever, so I knew, you just stand there and look straight. He was like, "Oh, you don't want to look at me?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what is going on? What have I gotten myself into?"
So, what were the hardest adjustments to make when you entered the Army Reserves?
Truthfully, discipline. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. But I quickly caught the drift and followed along. But I had problems. I was overweight and I wasn't in shape, so I had to work twice as hard as my battle buddies to get, to get the objective complete.
Right.
But I was at a mindset, and I always have been in a mindset. If everybody around me can do it, I can too.
Right. So let's talk about this Iraq experience. Did you was this like a combat situation?
It was. However, I was in garrison. Except for every 2-week flight across Iraq to a place called Besmaya. But I will say, and just because you don't see combat doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you. And I can definitely speak to that because, like, there was several situations while I was there that happened, and it was just like mind blowing. 7 airmen got caught in a power line in Iraq, killed all of them.
Wow.
And I was really good friends with the mortuary affairs people because that's kind of the same, not the same thing, but we kind of work in the same personnel circles. So I was up close and personal with that situation, and it was a lot.
Right.
And again, like the day before I got there, a girl that worked in the post office killed herself. So that was also, a burden that was sitting over us for the whole deployment. And I really would like to speak to the mental health of just being deployed.
Do your thing.
That is absolutely some crazy shit. For me personally, it was like I was on a cruise ship, and every day was just somebody pressing rewind, play, and it started to really eat at me mentally. It got to the point where I would come to work and cry, and not because I didn't want to be there. I was having fun, but it was just the same thing every day, over and over and over again. And I would say the good thing about deploying and what I did, the postal operations, was I got to make people happy. I got to see people, when they got that package from their moms, when they got, the shoes they had been waiting for. It was my job to personally ensure that they got that. And
let them know. Let them know about that, because people take that for granted. People take getting a package for granted. People go to Amazon and they get their packages at their damn door. They get mad and they hit somebody else because they shit late. Man, let them know how special it is when you're out there in theater to get a package or to see your ass and knowing that your consistency is going to make me happy, because if you're there, I know I got something to look forward to. Please let them know, man.
I had a major curse me out like I was a rag on the side of the road. He was like, "My Joes need a shit. If we don't get it, you're affected. And I had no, I was a PFC. I had no control over nothing. This was way above me. Iraq was on Ramadan. They flipping warehouses and all kind of stuff across the street. But he came and he cursed me out like I was for the streets because his soldiers were depressed because they weren't getting their packages.
Right.
Simple things like that when you're deployed make all the difference. I would beg to say that's one of the most important jobs there, because without it, that's the connection to the outside world. That's how you find out everything. That's how, and I mean, it's important now, but imagine before we had phones.
Right. There we go. Cause I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did. Listen, ain't no cell phones out there. All right, you ain't carrying no cell phone in theater along with your M16A2 service rifle, all right, or your M4, whatever the hell they're shooting. All right, you are out there day and night. All right, the only contact you have is a fucking letter that may or may not get there. Now, understand, you ain't the only person out there. So there's millions and millions of letters that have to be sorted out and put in different compartments, and to ensure that you're going to get your one feel good. Cause that's what we called it. We called it feel good. You dig what I'm saying? Because when you got that letter from whoever it was, you dig what I'm saying? It made your whole day change. You know what I'm saying? You don't have FaceTime out there. You don't have none of that. All you have is a letter. You know what I'm saying? And that changes, that can dictate whether you have a good day or a bad day. I've seen people who expected mail and didn't get it and damn near commit suicide. Like, it's that real. You understand what I'm saying? So all y'all out here that take these Amazon packages y'all be ordering and just arrive on your doorstep for granted, yo, don't do that, because there are people out there in theater fighting for their lives, wishing they got a letter.
Okay. And the 3 weeks it takes to get something there.
3 weeks.
And don't be like in Syria or something like that. It's 3 weeks. It got to come where it got to go. Then it got to go to you. And that take even longer.
Facts. Meta coach.
Yeah.
You got something, sir?
Yeah. From a behavioral standpoint, Wayne, I want to just point out what he said about this major coming cussing him out. And this is an indication of how much stress people are under, because somebody in that position, speaking to somebody like him, knowing he has no control, but yet he unloads on this person, is just an indication of how high the stress level is. So when somebody's as a senior level, now he's probably having all the pressure of his troops underneath him, seeing somebody break down, and excuse my drift, but my controller is messing with me. When you are deployed, the stress level is on 10 most of the time, even though you might be having fun. But like the indication, the letters, how significant just a piece of mail. It could be a postcard with, "Hey, how you doing? Thinking about you." Thanks. And, you be holding that thing to your heart and chest. But that major situation just shows how intense the stress could be, because this is a person that should be setting an example of maintaining and control. So now he's out of control. So you think about his troops underneath him, what they must be dealing with. Hopefully they didn't see his example and follow through. Hopefully they had a little better control, but that's just an indication of the stress that takes place over there.
Well, let's elaborate on that, Meta Coach. Okay. How old were you, Wayne?
At the time I was 27.
27 years old with the responsibility that big. You dig what I'm saying? 27 years old with the responsibility of the morale of an entire squadron of people. Yo, that's pressure. That is pressure. So my question to you, Wayne, is how did you handle that? And what made you have a positive outlook, even though you knew that 9 times out of 10, sometimes when people didn't get their letter that they was expecting, they was going to cuss your ass out regardless, even if you was at fault or not.
I knew what I was going through. I knew how I was homesick. I knew how I felt. And one thing I'm great at is being empathetic.
Yes.
I can be empathetic. I can allow you to I'm old enough and I'm mature enough that I can allow you to express how you feel without taking it personal.
Mm.
I've learned to disassociate. You know, just because you have an issue or you have a problem doesn't mean I have to have one with you.
Right.
And doesn't mean that it was targeted at me. I'm sure that man had stuff going. When I tell you, when you cross them waters, Murphy Law takes full effect.
Yes.
Everything wrong that can happen. The wives start cheating, kids start acting out, people start dying. My roommate, my college roommate died while I was over there. My uncle took sick. He lived until I got home, but he died. But he died as soon as I got home. My best friend, not my best friend. I'm sorry, that's my best friend. I wish. My sergeant, the sergeant that was over me, his mom died. His wife started cheating. His kids were acting out. You see all this, like you see it, so you understand when they come to you and they out of pocket. And when he came to me, I just said, "Roger, sir. I'll see what I can do. I'll let you talk to my lieutenant when she gets back."
Right.
Because it's not my job. Like, I mean, that's an officer. No matter how out of pocket he get, I'm enlisted. I know my place.
Right.
I ain't got nothing to do with me. It's nothing I could do. It's actually nothing she could do. It's nothing nobody on that base could do. The U.S. actually they're required to give those countries a certain amount of jobs.
Yes, sir.
In exchange for our presence.
Right.
So we had an airstrip on our side. BIOP was on the other side. The mail plane would fly into BIOP, unload it. They'd process the mail, send it over to us. We'd reprocess the mail. They send it to the post office, and we'd hand it out. So I knew what right looked like. And he was like, "I'm gonna follow congressional. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it." And I was just like, "Yes, sir. I understand." And I left it there.
Yeah.
And he didn't come back and apologize. It just was what it was. I realized that he was going through something, and I'm not gonna let what he's going through affect me.
Facts. Now, honestly, man, that's the best way to do it. I think in a lot of ways I did the same type of thing. I put myself in a lot of other people's shoes before I gave a reaction in regards to how they responded to me in regard to not getting what they expected to get from me in regards to services and things like that. So you did this, you were in the reserves for 5 years. Why didn't you stay longer?
Bullshit and bureaucracy. That's the best I can say. I watched, so little joke I like to say, I was the 4Fs, fat, fucked, failed, and flagged. So I had some, I got into the military with back issues. Like I have hyperlordosis.
Okay.
Which is just sway in the back. Mine was like really bad though. So I got in and I dealt with it, but it got to a point where I couldn't anymore, and it felt like somebody was punching me in the back when I did PT. Right. And I go to sick call, I do the whole, they give me, the Motrin and send you on your way. You know how I go. I'll be ibuprofen, send you on your way over and over again. But deployed, I got to see just how some senior NCOs and officers acted and how they would do things that weren't right, but expected you to be the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like that was right. I've seen them, pencil PT tests. I've seen them come in late to work, but fuss at you because you're 5 minutes early, not 15 minutes. I've seen them take lunch and not come back. I seen them, the truck come in, we got to unload the truck. And I don't know, we got to throwing 70-pound mail bags. Because they always be like, oh, pencil, they call us pencil pushers. Now, we're throwing 70-pound mail bags.
Right.
We had to throw in these mail bags and you just left and didn't come back. Like you left an E5 and 3 E4s to do all this shit.
Right.
2 trucks sometimes.
That's
and
a lot of mail.
That just wasn't, it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I also, I strongly believe, and you have to look at you and look at your life and do a break-even analysis with the military. You have to realize that at some point, you ain't getting nothing out of this. And you just have to be mature enough to realize, okay, I've gotten everything I'm gonna get out of this. What's next for me? And what was next for me was I wanted a family. I wanted to have children. And I did that. I actually me and my husband have adopted 2 children.
Awesome.
We're about to adopt a third next month, and we're currently fostering another one at this moment.
Oh, okay. So how does that process of adopting go? How does that work?
So you take so we my husband actually works for DCFS.
Okay.
At the time he did child welfare. So he would go in and remove children and find them places to go if need had it. So you take a 40-hour class, pass the class, or not pass the class, but you take the class, and then they come do a homestead, they come check your house out. And if you can meet the income requirements and the housing requirements, and pass the background check, then you can begin the process of being available to adopt children.
Oh wow! I never even know that. I never even knew that process. It sounds like applying for a job.
It is, but you're applying to have your life changed. I'm so big on. I used to think when I was in the process of adopting kids, I thought that I would change their lives.
Yes.
But I was a damn fool because they changed mine. When I got back home, I wasn't right. I got home and everything started. Everybody had went on about their lives. Everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, and I went through some mental struggles of just getting back home and trying to refine my place. And it's kind of like a ship. You just out there and you just sailing and rocking, and they were my anchor. Those children were my anchor, because at one point I was ready to be one of the 22. But they definitely anchored me. They gave me something to stay here for. And they have changed my life beyond measures.
I don't want to unpack any of that. I'm not that. That's a medical coach's job. I'm not doing it. But since we there, do you want to speak about some of those situations that put you in such a dark place?
I most definitely can.
Okay.
So when you're deployed, it's the same thing every day, over and over again. Little things. Somebody saying something to you. I've seen people go off, like to the point of wanting to fight somebody just over a small thing. It's not much to do, you got your gym or whatever, your MWR building, but it's not much to do to keep your mind stimulated.
Right.
And what ends up happening is you end up starting like little stuff, and then to get home and the pieces they didn't fit back together.
Right.
And it took the VA. I begged the VA to give me a counselor. It took them forever to give me a counselor.
Okay, hold up now, Wayne. Now that's my question. So you mean to tell me there was no transition period for you when you got out?
Like, no, sir. As a reservist, you go to demo. You demo for a week. They give you a little class, and then you fly. You actually, so you know how the guard in active duty, you fly back to a location, right? And they have a whole ceremony and all that. As a reservist, after you get off that out of demo, you catch a plane to your home record.
Okay, Drew. See now, look. So the man went to war. All right, whether he was in theater or not, he served his country he served his country in another country. All right, he had a very stressful job in ensuring that people were happy in receiving mail. All right, watch people die. I'm almost positive. You know what I'm saying? And didn't even get a transition period before he had to go back into a civilian sector of life to have some normality. And you wonder why so many people, I don't even like to use the word fail because it's not a failure. You wonder why so many people are inconsistent in understanding how to fall back into suit in the civilian world. We don't even get the proper tools to do so. The boy just got a pat on his back and said, "Thank you, I appreciate it," and peace.
See, and he can get that.
And the expectation was for him to conform to civilian life. How?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a very strong mind and very supportive people, or something within surrounding yourself or your life that you're able to create a balance, it doesn't happen. A lot of people aren't like this. A lot of people die. A lot of people commit suicide. A lot of people go to drinking. A lot of people go to overdosing on pills. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that these military people or these service members are facing once they have to make that transition from the military to civilian world. And we don't even get the proper tools to adjust.
Yep. They give you a little taps class and send you on your way.
That's So, like you said before, though, you had a very, 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 very strong foundation with your husband and some fun. How many kids? I mean, 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 boy, 2 girls.
At the moment, we have Well, let me start the right way. We have I have a daughter. She's 7. I have a son. He is 5. We're adopting a white male. He's 4, and we're currently fostering a 15-year-old.
Okay, so what? I'm gonna just ask any damn way because you black. So I'm just what made you and your husband come to the agreement that you guys would adopt a white male?
A phone call. They told us a child needed somewhere to stay, and told us we'd have him for the weekend.
Say less, man.
And 2 years later, he's still here.
That's
and
phenomenal.
I mean, at that point, that's my child, and I get the looks. I mean, first and foremost, the elephant in the room. We already, 2 gay black men, and now we went around with 3 kids, and one of them is white. So we get all the looks, we get all the stares. I've had a lady stop me. She didn't stop me. She was walking, and he was, being kids. She stopped, put her hands on hips, and watched us walk away. I had somebody follow me to my car, take a picture of my license plate one time,
thinking you kidnapping kids.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's okay. It is what it is. You have to let people again do what they're going to do, but it's how you react to it. You don't have to react to every situation that comes about. I don't have to curse her out because I'm never gonna see her again.
Right.
But this is still my child, and if I go out here and I go there with her, and something happens, now I'm putting them at risk, myself at risk, and evidently this lady at risk because I'm gonna whoop her ass. But yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, with all those looks you get, and I bet you guys parent a lot better than half the motherfuckers looking at y'all. That's the funny thing. Like that's the gag. I'm almost positive you guys are more equipped and better suited to parent than half of the people that's giving you guys looks. So, man, I commend you, man. Like, for real, for real. That answer you just gave in regards to why you and your husband decided to adopt a white I don't want to. I mean, yeah, adopt a child that doesn't even look like you is phenomenal, man. Like, I commend that. I love that because all it takes is a caring heart. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what your color, the color of your skin is, or nothing like that. It's about.
I was gonna say, truthfully, I came into it with that mindset. Like, I didn't want to adopt any child outside my race because I felt like it was so many parents out there that needed kids. I was like, and black kids don't get adopted at the same rate as their white counterparts.
Right.
But I'll never forget, and I know this is so off topic, but I'll never forget the day he came in my house. he was scared because he probably had never seen any black people in his life.
Right.
And I was heartbroken because I had this child that had been disregarded, that had lice, that couldn't talk, that just screamed, and I held him and I cried. He just held on to me and he cried. And we cried together that night. Went and got a lice kit, cleaned him up. And when I tell you today, that's not the same child that walked in my house.
Yo.
He's talking. He's doing good in school, and that's the sick that my son, the one I already have adopted, he didn't talk when we got him either. He's talking. He talk better than I talk, honestly.
Awesome.
But it's just it goes back to emptying the bucket.
Yes.
It goes back to you pouring everything you have into someone in hopes that someone can grow and become something better. And I would do it all over again.
I love it.
As many times as needed to happen, because I realized the impact I had on those children, but I realized even more the impact they had on me.
Meta Coach, what you got, my guy?
Well, I was thinking about calling Nero down here to do this part, to wrap this. I think what he has shared is some powerful insights, but I think she has something to bring it home.
You on mute. There we go.
So I commend you for adopting children and being present for children who don't have presence. I was a child in the system, so I get it. And I have my parents, like my parents are actually in my life and things like that, but situations are always different and you never know what's going on inside of someone's home. So thank you for being present for people who didn't have presence in their life. It's an amazing thing to do. 2, because the door is open for you in that area, I want you to be aware of something that's called selective mutism. And it's hard for children. Believe it or not, it happens to military men a lot and often. It's an area of verbiage that gets cut off when a trauma experience happens. It means that they only relate to certain people, certain things, certain areas of life. It refrains them from talking to certain people when they're approached and how they react to things in life. It's really hard that we receive children sometimes with that kind of mutism when they come from different homes with trauma and then come into a home where there's like a livelihood of communication. It's an area you're going to have to get strong in. And it's another war and another battle that you'll have with your children because they face that trauma continuously, even though there's some place that is so comforting. I run a school for neurodivergent children. So I always say like this, if you have an area where you need some help and assistance on how to kind of transfer that through when you take in children, please let me know and reach out so that I can help assist you in any way that I possibly can. And even if that means that I fly out to give you some support inside of some of those areas, I'm an open door and open book. Secondly, please don't ever feel less than. Your job is no different, no harder, no less, and no greater. The battle is all the same battle. How we handle it is exactly that. It's how we handle it, and it's so completely different than one another. I'm glad that you're still here, and you're with us, and you're present. Through people coming at you, through life coming at you, through opening your door, you're still present. And sometimes you have to take the time to realize that you're worth some presence too. And I admire that in you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely. Man, the things you learn within these sessions and these discussions that we have. So, I mean, I want to ask before we get up out of here, how has the transition been? I mean, now that you're within Horizon World doing things, and I'm guessing you have a little bit of normality now and things like that. How has the transition been since you have been out of the military?
So being a reservist, you're always transitioning.
Right.
You have to transition from the drill weekend back to real life, and then back and forth. So you're always transitioning. So the biggest transition was transitioning from Iraq back home. And that was my final transition. I actually submitted my packet to get out while I was in Iraq. Got off the plane and was like, "Hey, Commander, I don't know what you got going on, but in these next 3 months that I'm off, I need out of here." And the General Secretary called me and made it happen. So that was my transition out. And I don't regret anything. Everything was a lesson. Everything made me a better person. I had the hardest childhood. Oh my God. I mean, let me not say the hardest, but it was definitely a hard childhood. But everything in that process, everything, I don't regret any of it because everything set me up for this moment right here. Yep. And it'll set me up for the next moment. So I'm always transitioning. I'm always transitioning to be a better person, to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. But it was Iraq was definitely a battle. Just getting home, and it didn't feel like home. It felt like, everybody had kind of forgot about me and they were going on with their lives, doing their own things. And I was just back, and I messed up and took 3 months off work. Was at home for 3 months, 3 months in my head, 3 months, and my thought process was me in doing that. I was getting myself right. But in reality, I think I was hurting myself more than anything because I had time to sit in my head. I had time to think about everything that went on and to like, I guess, break stuff down and uncompartmentalize stuff that should have probably stayed compartmentalized.
Now, y'all don't know this, but I was talking to Wayne in the back. He recently lost his mother in March, and so I can only imagine how you're dealing with that in addition to all these other things. But like Noro just said, I commend you for being present. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if I would be able to have the strength that you have in regards to those moments. But like you said, all those things that built up were all stepping stones to, I'm assuming, make you stronger for the moments that you have to endure now.
I'm gonna be very transparent with you. Just a little about me. Okay. I've been beat growing up, molested, the military, and I'm gonna tell you a story in a little bit too about something that happened that really shifted my focus and my outlook in the military. But just through all that, it's just continuing to show up, continuing to be present. It's that's what keeps me here. It keeps me here. It keeps me grounded because anywhere I am, I feel responsible for my children, for creations in here, for the community that's around me, and it just keeps me present, keeps me here. But the story I want to tell you, it was so I went to military school before I deployed, like to get training.
Yep.
And my battle buddies were joking, and they were like, we were in the class. The teacher was there. I asked the teacher a question. They was like, "Oh no, you don't ask him that. You don't ask him that." He was like, "He don't like what you like." And I was like, I looked like, why would you say that? Because I'm open to jokes as long as like I don't mind joking with my platoon, my people I feel comfortable with, but they outside of us into this joke. And I remember going to my room and I remember crying my eyes out, because I felt betrayed, but I also felt in danger because you never know what's in somebody's mind. Like that could have hurt that man's pride so much that I could have walked on the street, could have ran me off the road, anything.
Right.
And I'll never forget, that was one of the only times I actually went to somebody and made a complaint. I went to my supervisors and I told him, I said, or my lieutenant and my master sergeant, I told him, I said, you know what? I really don't appreciate that. I'd like to talk to them. Not I'd like to report them, not I'd like to get them in trouble. I'd like to talk to them. And I did. And I told them, I said, y'all realize what y'all did? And they were like, what? We was joking. I was like, no, but your joke at this point has went outside of us.
Right.
You invited
Right.
somebody to sit on our joke, and they didn't get it. They was like, "Man, you just snitching." Da, 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 da. But individually later on, each one of them, I guess, went back, saw through it, reflected on it, and came back to me and was like, "We get it."
Well, at
And
least
that
they
meant
got
so.
it.
Yeah, and that meant so much to me because a lot of times people say things and they don't think about the implications and the consequences of what they say and how that's going to affect you later on.
Right.
So for them to come back and say they got it, really, really, warmed my heart and was like, okay, at least they get it. And another good story, I'll never forget. One of our battle buddies, he called me a bitch. He was like, "You ain't nothing but a bitch." And I was like, he said, you're a female, you ain't nothing but a old bitch. And I was like, why would you say that? I was like, I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm okay with me. There was six sitting right there, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna file a complaint." A sharp, and I kind of looked like, what? I'm thinking they about to file my battle buddy, so I'm ready to defend him. I'm like, no, he was joking. She was like, no. She was like, because he shouldn't have said that. They need to go back to don't ask, don't tell. Because why would he say that? And I was like, say what? They were mad because I said that I'm comfortable with who I am.
Mm.
And it just blew my mind. Like, this is where we at.
Right.
So I mean, the military is still. I love the military. The military is a great experiment.
Right.
Every societal change is tested there. I call this the testing grounds. It's tested there. I remember giving the transgender briefing, and having a drill sergeant. I don't know. I don't know why they chose me to get a transgender briefing, but it was what it was. And having a drill sergeant say, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna call him about whatever I want. And I stood up and I said, you know what, maybe it's time for you to go home.
Mm.
I was like, the Army's constantly moving along, and if you can't grow with it, then maybe you should grow without it.
Mm.
And he was pissed. He was so mad. Oh, I'm glad I was out of basic and had to deal with that man because he was pissed. But it was the truth.
I knew she was
testing
coming.
grounds.
I knew she was coming. Yes, Miss Sasha. You're on mute.
I'm glad that, Wayne, that you actually are touching on this because I wanted to ask you, were you treated differently intentionally because of your choice? And you and I both know, we all know that we can get down and dirty when we joking with each other. We is no holds barred, and people be like, oh, we in the military, we can do that. So you and I both know how it can get down when we comfortable with each other. We're in the workplace and all of that. And you just said that they asked you to do the briefing for transgender, and you're like, I don't know why they asked me to do the briefing, but in my mind, I feel like they intentionally asked you to do the briefing because of your preference, when to me, that's just as fucked up because had anybody taken the time to do the research, had anybody taken the time to get the statistics or even care about the subject, it shouldn't matter who did the briefing. So why choose you? To me, that's an isolation in itself.
Exactly.
So that's why I wanted to know, like, do you feel that happened often? And if so, how did that make you feel, truly make you feel? Or did you always just say, you know what, it's bigger than me?
So, little known fact about me, I would actually wait until every male. Once they can. I would wait till every male got out the bathroom. Just in fear I'd make somebody uncomfortable. 1 second. I gotta get it together.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Take your time, bro. Take your time.
The one time I was forced to have to go into the restroom when everybody was in there because we was on a time restraint, and they was like, no, you can't wait this time, you have to go. People I love, my battle buddies, people that I know without a shadow of a doubt will have my back, made me feel so uncomfortable. so subhuman, so dirty, and I wouldn't even do anything. I was just being me. I kept my head down. I walked to my shower. One second. I walked to my shower. I made sure to stay against the wall. I didn't look any direction but down. But there were so many times when I sacrificed who I was for the greater good.
To make others comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
you got to deal with that crap. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It just, ugh.
And I remember I got to Kuwait. You know, you always go to Kuwait before you go to Iraq or anywhere else in theater. And I'll never forget. I looked down, and there was a transgender male, a transgender male in the bunk under me. And it just it gave me so much hope for what's to come. Like, because I don't know how many y'all in the military, but they force social change on the military, and it's not a bad thing, but it definitely comes at a cost to people. There's not enough training. There's not enough, immersion, and it hurts. Like you really see the best and the worst people. Like I know everybody in my platoon would die for me, but at the same time, I know that there's this one thing about me that they a part of me that they don't love.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
it would
you
be
know
easier if they could just overlook it.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I really hate that. And that's one of the things I did hate. And I used to always tell my airmen or just anybody, other soldiers, Marines, whoever, just because you have preferences, that man has preferences. He's identified his preferences, but that doesn't mean that you're his preference.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that.
Exactly.
Just like you like women, but you don't like all women. So what's the difference? But it's almost as if it's an easy target that people can poke fun with when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community in the military. That has always been an issue, but specifically for the men, for my male counterparts. And I never understood that. So that's why I asked you that. And I hope you don't think that was too personal, but I really wanted to know,
Oh, it's fine.
your experience with that, because I know what my brother personally experienced, the things that he went through, where he was ashamed and kind of hid it a little bit because he was afraid, especially of his, hanging out with people that weren't gay or they were straight only, but they didn't know that he was gay. It's just a whole bunch. So I always just wondered, you felt like you had to hide.
I definitely hit it in basic training. Oh, and it used to drive me crazy because I'm not the most, closeted and coveted person, but one of the drill sergeants knew, and this man made my life miserable. But two of them actually, and both of them, they made my life miserable. They he would chase me around, calling me fluffy. He had told his platoon that basically that I was gay and don't talk to me. So these guys would not talk to me all day.
Wow.
But they would talk to me at night and be like, at night, oh, Wayne, we sorry. He said we couldn't do this. And then I had another drill sergeant. He used to come to the table every day with a banana and an apple. And he put them behind his back. He'd be like, which one you want? And I would always be like, I'm not doing this with you today. I'm not doing this. I'll never forget the last week of training, he did it. And I had just had enough. And he pulled it out like he always do, and everybody like at tables, people laughing. And I just asked him. I said, Drill Sergeant, I think you like little boys. His face like went like, and then he never said nothing else to me. I remember seeing him at AIT. Oh yeah, I think y'all call it tech school. I walked by him and I waved, and he was his wife. He turned around and like start like ignoring like I wasn't even there.
Because you played him at his own game. He was trying to humiliate you, and you humiliated his ass. So yeah, you humiliated him back. He was trying to. You played him. You beat him at his own game.
But it's just, and I'll tell you the one thing about being gay is that you can't, you're never done coming out.
Mm.
You come out every single day, over and over and over again. It's never ending.
Mm.
Mhm.
So with
Thank
that
you.
being said, Wayne,
Huh?
you got the whole world in that camera right there. Before we get out of here,
Stay
if there was
positive.
something that you can tell them, or that you would like to tell them about the military, and just the misconceptions or whatever that people have about military life, just let them know. Like, just give it to them.
If I could do it again, I would do it hands down. Um, the knowledge, the friendships, the people you meet, the experiences you get, are life changing. You, it teaches you to be more than just about you. It teaches you that, whatever it is in life, that you need people, you need structure, discipline to get it done. And I appreciate the military for that. Yes, there were days that I didn't want to do it. There were times it felt like hell. But if you can get up, you can definitely do it. And keep failing forward.
Mm. I, I don't think we need to expand on that. Do you?
No, man, I think that wraps it.
Wayne, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you
Mhm.
coming through, and I appreciate you being vulnerable with us within this space. Um
Mhm.
we unpacked a lot of things, man. Even in I'm at a loss for words right now. And I'm very rarely at a loss for words. But I mean, thank you, man, because you even opened my eyes up to a lot of things, especially in regards to the gay community and things like that, and the things I know you had to endure within that space, within the service and things like that. It's no way it could have been easy for you. But you're here. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate the things that you have given to this metaverse space. And I definitely look forward um to you giving your gift even more within this space, and being who you are, because it's definitely appreciated, and it's loved in here. So I thank you for coming through. And to the audience, I hope you guys got something from the discussion. I hope you guys got a little bit of information. I hope you got a little bit of more understanding about what it is to be a reservist within the Army and things like that, and the type of thing that we have to endure being service members. With that being said, man, that's it. Forgotten
Yeah.
Voices, man. Have a phenomenal evening. Later.
Gonna get a photo.
Yes, we will. Everybody, if y'all can we let's get over there to the Forgotten Voices sign so we can get a photo. And again, hey Drew, man, I appreciate you, man. I know we went over a little bit, but I appreciate you, man, for always coming through and giving visibility to this, man, because it's definitely needed. And I think a lot of people within the civilian sector need to hear things like
I
this,
ain't see you in
because
so
it's
long.
not just given, or it's not just going on in the military. It's definitely going on in the civilian world as well.
Man, he almost
So
got
if
me
we can
fucked
open
up
our
at
eyes
the
to that,
end.
man, I think we better people for that. Love you, my guy. Appreciate you, dude.
I had started crying myself.
I know. That's why I was like, oh, I didn't. I wanted to ask, but I was like, how do I ask
Hello,
that? But
man.
I
Oh,
know that's
no.
something that
Is
I
this a
don't think people. I
podcast
think it was
for
important that
veterans?
people hear
Very
that
much
that's what you
so.
had. You dealt with a lot more than just fucked up supervisors yell or people yelling
But
at you.
in
You dealt
regards
with
to
a
the
lot of stuff.
speakers, they are veterans. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I'm active duty still. I've been in 7
What
years.
Oh, you are.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
So you got a story to tell too, then.
Not one I want to tell. No, thank you. I like listening.
I'm almost.
What branch in Diamond?
I'm in the Navy.
Okay, okay, all right, all right. Yes. Thank you for serving. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
service.
I don't know what to call Air Force people.
We just Air
I-
Force.
Airmen,
We just airmen.
Airmen,
Yeah.
airmen, seamen,
yeah.
soldiers, and sailors.
Yeah,
Wait, seamen and
sailors,
sailors, same
seamen.
thing.
We call our
Oh.
like branch of the Navy like the air crew airmen too.
Come
So
out.
you
We
say
out
the
here
whole
Guardians.
thing.
I can't tell if I'm in there or not.
Oh, you are. I see you.
Let me throw it the hood.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put you on. The
Please do.
Hey, on three, guys. We ready? Everybody in? You
Hey.
see that? Diamond, come
Yes.
up so they can see you, man.
My fault. My menu came up.
I'm right here.
Yeah, you kinda.
Listen at you. You like, get it out there, Jack.
On three, guys. 1, 2. One more. 1, 2, and.
Hey.